All right, well, King MisuZulu kaZwelithini is expected to pay a visit to the family of his future wife, Ntokozo Mayisela, in Newcastle, northern KwaZulu-Natal. The visit forms part of a lobola ceremony where, in Zulu tradition, the families exchange gifts to conclude the lobola negotiations. Let's get more on this. Let's cross live to our reporter, Thulani Msimang. A very good afternoon to you, Thulani. Thulani, talk to us about what's happening there, where you are obviously an exciting time for both the families. Take us through the traditional aspects of what's happening.
Yes, good afternoon, Flo and the viewers. We're here in Newcastle at the outside the home of the Mayiselas, where King MisuZulu kaZwelithini came again here today to gift his bride to be Princess Mayisela with gifts. This is part of a gifting ceremony called Umembeso, whereby both families, the family of the king and the Mayisela family, they exchange gifts before the big day of the marriage. That is now behind me was the place where this ceremony was taking place. The marquee that you see behind me, the white tent, was where both families were seated exchanging gifts. The family of the king, Abantwana, the princesses, and the family of Mayiselas were there exchanging those gifts. The gifts included, amongst other things, there were blankets that we saw and some gifts that were wrapped in plastics. Now, we're also told that King MisuZulu, aside from being here last year to send a delegation initially to ask for the princess's hand in marriage, a lobola delegation that came here and left some cows as part of a lobola. Today again, the prince left some cattle as part of the gifting ceremony. Aside from those gifts that are usually exchanged, which includes blankets and other things. Behind me, you'll see there's some maidens that are now going to the place, the second, where a big ceremony will be taking place earlier on. Here at home at Mayisela home was just a small ceremony that was taking place, and now the maidens that you see are going to that place where there is a big marquee at the stadium where this big ceremony will be, the second ceremony will be taking place, where both families again will celebrate throughout the night and exchange those gifts, where the public is invited. Here at the Mayisela home was just a small private ceremony, but it turned out that more people came to come and see what's happening. I'm just going to let that car behind me pass. The Mayiselas now and the Zulu royal family will now be moving to that second venue where the big ceremony will be taking place, which we hope to be part of and bring to you as it happens. Flo.
Yeah, and actually one of the questions that I'd like to ask you, obviously this is, a new king that's just come in, and one would be very interested to know, what title his future wife then holds. One wonders if it works the same way as it would, in Western culture, where, if a king marries a woman, she becomes, the queen. Is that what happens now? Because we know that the late king's wives were, of course, queens, and now what happens in this particular situation? What can you tell us traditionally, of course, what happens now?
Yes, so from what I understand, from what is going on, according to the ceremony that is taking place today, the bride to be is now referred to, according to the posters that we've seen, as the princess to King MisuZulu kaZwelithini. And we understand that according to what is going to happen later, after the marriage, the princess is going to be at the side of MisuZulu at the king's homestead in Kwakangela Mankenga. That's why the princess will be after the marriage, after everything has been concluded, after the gifting ceremony has been concluded, and the marriage itself has been concluded. Flo.
All right, okay. So now as it stands, I mean, when it comes to representatives from both the families, are you in a position, where you are, and I know some of these things are obviously, private and closed off, and they are family things, but no doubt due to the fact that it is a high-profile person who's paying lobola, which is King MisuZulu. Who are the representatives at this time who have come to support him on his side? And I would assume that the bride's uncles and, the father's side of the family perhaps are there to represent. But in terms of family, what can you tell us about who are there at this time to represent both sides?
Yes, Flo, from what I can make out, it's very noisy from where I'm here. I must apologize to you and the viewers, but from what I hear, Prince MisuZulu kaZwelithini himself is not here at the venue. He's going to arrive later, we're told. He's going to arrive later. He's going to be flown in, we understand, by chopper. We also, amongst other guests, as you asked, are the princesses who are here. We've also spoken to the uncles of Ntokozo, who described her as a girl who's full of respect and who's deserving to be joining the royal family, to be part of the royal family. They're saying that actually she's a child who was raised well, and they're surprised, and they feel honored that their efforts of raising their daughter has now borne fruit, that is representing them to join the royal family, the Zulu royal family. But those are the people that we understand are here. We haven't seen anybody else. We've also we've spoken to Thulani, Prince Thulani, who's also explained to us about what's going to happen about the ceremony, the ceremonies that are going to be taking place, and the gifts that are here, the blankets, the cows that are here, and the additional cows that were brought today by King MisuZulu kaZwelithini.
All right, Thulani, thanks very much for your reporting for us on the ground for us in Newcastle, in KZN, where King MisuZulu Zwelithini is paying a visit to the family of his future wife, Ntokozo Mayisela, as part of the lobola negotiations. We're going to take a short break, bring you more news after this. Do stay with us.